Welcome back, everyone, for our start of the halftime show for CLG Academy and Golden Guardians Academy, the top of the table matchup. We are going to have a little bit of fun today with our casters as we're going to have another episode of Yordle coming on through. So we're going to have our casters come in. We are going to have a 5-letter word that is going to have something to do with Academy and this last series itself. And we're going to have our casters guess. So let's go ahead and bring in Magical and Cubby and see how they're feeling about this situation. How you hanging, guys? How you hanging? Doing all right?
I saw Mad Magical writing vigorously in his book before this. Yeah, so I'm wondering what he has planned. And now I know that this is a game that no one's ever seen before, and no one's probably ever played.
Yeah.
It's called Yordle. So we just have to guess a 5-letter word, and we get clues as we go. Yep. Now, Magical, I'm gonna put my faith in you. You've never led me astray. I saw you writing in your book, vigorously, mind you. You get first guess. What do we have?
I like the collaboration already, the teamwork. You're setting them up for success. Oh my God, it's that word again. Why do we let Magical come onto these game shows? All right. Well, production, he's going to lock in. How do you say that word again?
Xerxes.
Xerxes?
It's you know what? It's the Mad Magical tax.
Wrong.
That is, it's an E, so there's no E in there. That's a big clue.
There you go.
Thank you, Alex.
Yep. Progress. All right. Progress. Now let's go to the second guess here. As we're just going to move right on past that first one. I love your intuition, though, Magical. You just feel it. One day, maybe I'll just put that word on there so that you get it right the first time. We'll see what happens.
Let's go.
Cubby, let's hear your breakdown. What do you think you could possibly be if it's related to this series and especially that first game?
First.
First?
I know I'm guessing second, but I'm going to guess first.
All
I'd like to lock that in.
So
I feel confident. My first guess is first.
Interesting.
That's a good word. That's a good word.
That's original.
It's got an I, an S in there, so
and
even if
T,
it's wrong,
and
we'll
an
get some
R.
clues.
You'll get some.
It's got
use
a
out of it.
lot
All
of useful
production.
ones.
We have it. I is in the right place.
It's in the right
And
spot.
S.
Now,
we got S.
yeah,
We
I
know
didn't
no
say
T,
this
R.
before. Green means the letter is in the right position, right? Because this is an original game. Obviously, people don't know the rules. So green means the letter is in the right position. Yellow means you have the right letter, wrong position. Very original concept that I came up with, especially. So now that you have that, Magical, it is your turn. We're changing it over to you for the third guess.
I don't want to guess kills, but that's the one that's coming to my mind, Cubby. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
It would keep the I in the same spot.
Yeah, no. It's better. You know what,
All right.
Alex?
Let's lock it in. Let's lock it in.
In
Lock it
Academy,
in.
we're all
Kills.
about growth.
Oh, at least we got the S in the right place, and there's a K.
Got the S. Got the
In
S.
Academy, Mad Magical, we're all about growth, and I think that's a much better guess than your first guess. So you're growing.
Hey,
Congrats.
hey,
It's
hold
first
on,
round robin
hold on,
versus second
hold on.
round robin.
Let me defend myself with this word. It gets rid of X, Y, and Z, and it also has an E in there. So we get all of them right out of the gate, and we know it's not some crazy word.
Yep, we're gonna keep going. So Cubby.
Honestly, the pressure's on for me because I have to come up with words now that have an I as the second letter, an S at the end,
And a K in it.
And a K
with a K
somewhere.
in it.
What could it possibly be, Cubby? What could it possibly be? So fourth guess on the line here. You're on your timer. I don't even have a timer, but you're on a timer. Whatever time I feel like. I could do it now. I could do it in 10 minutes.
Can I see the board again? Because I really don't have any
Let's
ideas.
go ahead and bring up
Cubby.
the Yordle board.
Mad Magical. Do we what do you have?
Picks.
Picks?
Oh.
I like it.
Cubby?
Picks.
All
Getting
right,
picks.
we're locking
that was
in.
a comeback mechanic for Golden Guardians.
We're locking in picks. P-I-C-K-S.
Yeah, not Voodoo picks.
Woo! Magical with the clutch. I don't know. Is that a steal? A help?
It's a help.
Support?
That's
alley-oop?
phone a friend.
Yeah, we wanted
That's
to
a
collaborate
friend.
on the last three anyways, so that works.
We did.
I thought
Thank
it was
you.
going back and forth. But hey, you guys made it there anyways. And that just shows the inherent synergy between you two. No wonder you guys cast so well together. But it is all about picks because CLG kind of did that.
Well, hey, Ryoma did some of that as well.
He did
with
as
Golden
well.
Guardians.
He did, and that's
Was
what
a
I was
big
gonna
theme.
say. Is like it was literally themed throughout. I thought it was just
So-
gonna go one-sided at the early ones,
Wait.
but then Golden Guardians found their own.
So
all right?
I have a fun little story of because I play a lot of Vigar, and I also play a mid. So it's like I love him as support, but I've played a mid before. And there's one game where I was 15-4 on Vigar, but all my other lanes were, God, I want to say a combined 1 and like, I want to say it's like 1 and 20. It was that bad.
Okay.
All
Like
right, all
they
right.
were doing horrible, and no matter what no matter how good I did, I got a quadra kill in that game too. But our team's like, we're like, hey, got a quad, let's go Baron. They're like, nah, wait. And so I feel for Ryoma in that game because he actually played pretty well on the Vigar, but it was just everything was out of his control, out of all of Golden Guardian's control because Rose Thorn's early game popped off.
He really did. The Lee Sin looked sick, but it was the combination of the entire team coming together, especially that top
Yeah.
trio of the map.
Not just, I mean, that's a team-wide thing from CLG. I mean, when you are taking all that priority, you have a ganking and invading jungler, you know that you cannot let Hecarim get the first 2 clears off for free. You got to punish. And I think that the moment that Rosethorn decided to punish, he did it where he knew that he was going to find Hecarim there on that timer. He knew he was going to have the backup of his team, and they were going to be there first. And that's the stuff that CLG was doing to get ahead of everyone else in Academy in the first split. We've seen attempts of that in the second one. We've also seen CLG try and change up their identity, which I think they need to do before Proving Grounds. Always good to diversify that portfolio, but that is also what makes this team great. And I'm all for, doing different strategies, trying to figure that out as a team, but also if you can do this, if you can play this aggressively, if you can make things like this work, go for it. And I think at CLG, the reason that I like them as a team is because whether it works or not, they're never afraid to go for it. I think that makes them really exciting. And it's one of the reasons why they are now tied for first in our Academy standings, because a lot of the times they make it work.
Yeah, indeed. I do want to give a shout out to Prismal because we were talking about development. We were talking about the glow up for Prismal over this entire split as well, being a very strong and standard performing member of CLG Academy. But looking at it a little bit more, right, we're seeing at least in competitive, ADCs are playing a lot more aggressively at the top levels, right? And we're seeing a lot more of that forward play, especially on the likes of Zeri, taking the aggressive over-the-wall stances. And that's something I've seen Prismal start to take this week specifically, but starting to see a little bit more in Academy ADCs in general. And it feels good to see that confidence being played with in Academy because that's not something I would necessarily say for the rest of the split.
I've never been one to doubt Prismal's confidence. If anything, it's always been all right, sometimes you got to rein it in, right? And I think Prismal, a big part of the second round robin for CLG is that I don't think that Prismal's been as solid as he was in the first. I think that the way that CLG plays, I know that Mad Magical teased a lot of the times Breezy walking top to assist Dokla. We didn't see that in that game, but that's oftentimes an area where Prismal's left alone. And sometimes he's stepped up too far being on his own, or sometimes he's stepped up too far and gotten caught in these fights. Now, we did not. I think we only saw one instance of it that game, and it was still a trade. I
it
think
was
Prismal,
all aggression. Come on,
Yeah,
give him that one.
and he is someone that, when he gets a lead, he is able to do things with leads that we see him do that not many other marksmen can do in Academy. We've been seeing that for years now. And I think there's always been that question for Prismal, is this the year he moves up to LCS? Is this year he moves up to LCS? It's been another one where he hasn't. And at this point for Prismal, it's what else can he do to kind of prove it? I feel like the one checklist, the one big concern that a lot of orgs have is he gets caught out sometimes. And I think that if Prismal can balance that out with him being super aggressive, and I bring this up too, knowing from talking with Prismal and Jacob, and this is something that he talks about as well, he just loves to win. He loves to go in, make plays. He really is a playmaking marksman. And I think giving him the Zeri, giving him that Lulu, having your jungler path bot, that is one of the instances where we see what Prismal can do when he is given someone that can step up, can move forward like Zeri. And man, did he have a great game.
He really did, and it helps. Zeri is very strong, especially when you get early leads as a team and you press that into good team fights. But turning the table over to Golden Guardians Academy, right, coming into it, I want to get your last thoughts before we get into the second game. What do they need to do to turn this around? How do they approach that early game again?
Well, see, I was looking at the last time these two teams met up back in week 4. The last Super Week, in fact. It's really funny that they're playing again. I'm just looking at what Golden Guardians... Yeah, it was a 1-1 split, so I'm looking to see maybe what they need to do is really tackle this early game. Go back to the Ezreal and Karma bot lane that worked so well for them. Sure, Stixxay's not in, but Violet is more than capable of playing that champion as well, and I think it works really well with the identity of Golden Guardians.
I do too. I do. Here we are ready for Champion Select. So, guys, take it away for our second game of the day.
Alrighty, thank you, Mazel. We'll see you again after the game. We got to get ready for our second game of our match of the week between Golden Guardians and CLG Academy. Both teams now tied for first. Only one will stand on top after this series.
And one of the adaptations we're seeing early from Golden Guardians, it will be that side swap, as it is now them being on the blue side. I'm wondering what that means for the Zeri, because last game we saw the trade happen where Jinx and Zeri were both left open. Golden Guardians now on blue side. They have banned out the Jinx, the only champ that we've seen Violet play so far. Of course, he did just hop in this week. But that means we're going to get to see him on something else, and they're just asking for CLG to ban that Zeri, because Golden Guardians, they will first pick that one for themselves as Zeri is left open.
Well, I'm curious to see. Okay,
Yeah, no.
they do ban it, because I know Prismal can play a mean Tristana as well.
Rise can be
But
first
the
pick
Rise, yeah, the Rise being left open probably will be a Rise for already trade between the two teams. But just looking at this, that's a lot of marksman focus for both sides.
And I would not be surprised if we just see Ezreal Karma slammed. It is one of the stronger bot lanes up. Karma, he has seen a ton of bans, is left open. Prismal is an incredible Ezreal player.
Yeah.
I think it deals pretty well with Rise. Now, Ryoma's Rise, I think Rise is the strongest man in this patch. He is 6-2 on this champion this year. He's been so good at Rise throughout his career as well. Golden Guardians are never afraid to first pick this. And it's going to set them up on blue side to play to the side lane. So their goal, they're going to try and draft a strong top laner and a winning bot lane. And CLG looks like they're going to take Lee Sin again for Rosethorn. Makes a lot of sense, but also Jhin early. That tells me we're going to have to get a strong mid laner.
Cubby, we get
Yes?
an early Lee Sin pick for Rosethorn, but then the counter for Iconic of Rosethorn's own classic in Rek'Sai.
So Iconic, this will be the second game on Rek'Sai. This split between Amateur, LCS, and Academy. I believe he did play this pick in Acad. And with all the marksman bans, I think we're going to see the Ezreal for Violet. UT's Violet's more than capable of playing it. He is 9-3 in his career. I think one of the things that a lot of people may not know about Violet, of course, we're familiar with him from Worlds last year. That was Violet's first split playing competitively.
Yeah.
He was a sub for, I believe, Avant over in Oceanic beforehand. But with Peace, that was his first split playing competitively. Everyone from the Oceanic region was really hyping this player up, just given how young, how talented he was. So, yeah, he is someone that we have seen play professionally, have seen at the world stage, but he's still a very young player. And his Ezreal, I think it really speaks, 9-3 in his career, only 12 games played. I think it really kind of speaks to how young Violet and how much potential this guy has. I know Golden Guardians were really excited, not only to get him on the roster, but also get him to play some games, as, of course, that visa was a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
It took some time.
It
Yeah.
did take a long time, unfortunately, for Violet, but stepping in, I am very excited for this player and how he can perform, especially against Prismal and Breezy, a bot lane that we're more than accustomed to, and how powerful they've been in Academy. But here in the second part of bans, double bot lane focus from the side of CLG, taking away that strong combo that Ezreal has with Karma, but also denying Braum. And it's curious for me, I'm curious why they would ban the Braum here, especially with the fact they got Jhin Leona.
It's you can block the Jhin shots, and it's okay into Rek'Sai, especially if you take Engage on the top side. So now for the side of CLG, Golden Guardians are just asking for a triple to lock in Orianna, as the Rise, Victor and Syndra have been banned out, two of the mages that do outrange the Rise, and triple. So this is a matchup that I think a lot of players believe Rise is favored in. Triple still going to take it with the Ahri. You can get pushed in the lane, but he's going to have to be careful early, because any empowered Rune Prison plus Rek'Sai combo, that signifies death for most mid laners. So we'll see if Triple can play around that.
And here, we've got a blind Malar pick. That's a little interesting for
Pick the
Tony Tuck.
Alistar.
Yeah, the Alistar would be exciting
Do
as
it.
well for the spot lane out of Violet Time. Takes a little bit of that power in lane, allows them to play aggressively into Prismal and Breezy, who we've talked about before, tend to play very aggro. Whenever possible, they always try to step forward, so why not try to utilize that to your advantage and punish it?
I like Alistar here because it's kind of a handshake with Leona, at least in the laning phase. Now, Leona does usually get first move, but also CLG's composition, it's kind of low damage. You have Jhin, Ahri as the carries. That's not a lot of burst damage to get Ahri
Cubby.
a reset.
This is where Doko locks in Aurelia.
So I think Aurelia Camille is going to be the pick here for Dokla. And that is the lock-in Mad Magical, man. That's my job. You should be the color caster, man. You're taking all my style, all my flair.
Big brain magical coming through on that one. But okay, I just saw it. I'm like, you know what? No. I look at this composition, and Aurelia into Gnar is a classic matchup that we tend to see, a good counter matchup into Gnar. And looking at what you said, there is a lack of damage from the side of CLG. To make up for that with this Aurelia.
And I still think there is so that lack of damage is not early, right? It's as the game goes on. Now, I think that CLG with the Aurelia, this is going to return them to the identity that we saw CLG play yesterday against FlyQuest, playing 3 lanes, these 1-3-1s. CLG are not looking for team fights, right? They want the skirmishes. They want the power of the Lee Sin Arias, this pseudo-assassins in the mid-jungle. They want the power of Aurelia in the side lane. They do not want to deal with this Gnar, Alistar, Wombo in the 5v5. So I want to see if CLG are able once again to see if they can get Dokla ahead in the side, get triple ahead mid, and how Golden Guardians can play to break it. Because with this Rek'Sai, I think that Iconic and Golden Guardians have more tools between the Rek'Sai, between the Rise to try and equal CLG and how they were able to impact their lanes this game through Rosethorn. So I think we could see some early blood, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to how both of these junglers set up around mid. Because when you have that empowered Rune Prison, when you have that gank assist, you can attack Ahri pre-6. And I really want to see if Golden Guardians can do that and make sure that Ryoma is going to be the one that moves first this game, not Triple.
And I am very excited for this one. I'm looking at these 2 drafts like you talked about, Cubby. It's a throwback to yesterday for CLG with the 1-3-1 combo. But the composition that beat them in that second game was a Wombo combo team fight capable late game scaling team in FlyQuest. Even if they do have early game pressure out of Rek'Sai and Rise, I am looking to see when they group up, especially if it's even going into the mid to late game, how Golden Guardians can bounce back in the series, maybe tie it up at 1 apiece and regain the solo first position in Academy.
Yeah, this game is for first place. Going to be really exciting to hop in and see who can secure that heading into our last games of the day tomorrow in the Academy regular season, as first place on the line, Mad Magical, between Golden Guardians and CLG.
As at the moment, you have a bit of a party from Golden Guardians on the top half of the map. 4 members sent there. Iconic gets spotted out, but that essentially tells CLG, hey, maybe there's something fishy going on. Why is Rek'Sai showing so far south on the map?
It will just be an early ward on the Raptors for CLG, as Iconic going to drop one. Should recall here and pick up the sweep. So for Rek'Sai, I think that she as a champion is so incredibly powerful, level 3. You almost have to make a play. So the thing about Rek'Sai is that she also clears pretty quickly. So you do somewhat have the option to 5 camp, go for Crab, and then try and make plays from there. But I really want to see Iconic try and make early plays, especially around the mid lane. You have that empowered Rune Prison. Make good use of it. Try and get any advantage for Ryoma early. Then if he's able to answer plays first, it can be really tough for Dokla to push forward in the top lane if you know that you have a Rise Rek'Sai up there at any time to punish you.
As we look towards that point, it'll be exciting, but at the moment, standard stuff from both teams. Red buff starts for 2 champions that don't really need mana. Makes a lot of sense. Allows them to power clear a little bit faster, then look for those early games.
It also is a bit different this time around, just given that we do have both junglers, instead of matching the clear to bot, this time around, Iconic may be looking to impact that top lane. Now, Iconic was spotted taking the Raptors. We'll skip over the Krugs. Now, we'll see if the Rek'Sai does go onto the blue buff or the Gromp. It is looking like the Gromp first, so maybe we see Iconic sprint up top and dive Aurelia early. You can see Dokla already maybe feeling the pressure, seeing him do Raptor second, has dropped that ward on the Tri-Brush to see if Iconic does make a move up top.
But the only problem for Iconic is he needed to do it with that massive minion wave that had accrued in this top lane for Tony Top. Being a little bit behind schedule, shouldn't mount to any dive for the side of Golden Guardians, but just allows Dokla to reset like this and clear out the entire wave.
And I'm actually surprised that Tony went for a two-wave crash, because when the wave bounces back in this matchup as Gnar into Aurelia, especially when you don't have access to Mega, that's where things get really scary if you are the Gnar. So I think this is a tough wave state for Tony, because now you can see Dokla, he knows that Mega's not going to be available. He has some levels now as Aurelia, and if he's able to land any of the stuns, that's a heavy trade one in favor of Dokla. Whenever those is able to land that E.
Don't worry, we all have stumbles with the English language. I'm
just gonna take a sip of tea, and
all right,
maybe
that's a good idea. Why don't we both take a sip of tea? Let the game just kind of
see
play
if
out.
Iconic can make a play.
Yeah. Yummy tea.
Yeah,
Yummy tea.
there we go.
All
We got to stay hydrated in this battle first.
That we do. Both the teams and the casters, right there. Just a bit of a trade of damage between the supports.
So Dokla is going to burn that TP to get back to the lane. Iconic will reset. While all that was going on, CLG's bot lane actually were able to get the wave in on 3, and then looks like Prismal based for that cheater recall Cole coming out. So CLG, not as much action early. This is part of the draft. I think CLG being wary of the strength that Golden Guardians have, especially in the mid jungle positions early on in the game. And I want to see now if Iconic looks for mid lane, looks to attack Ahri before triple hits 6.
But I'm looking at the top lane. Rosethorn was just spotted out on a ward. That could have been an opportunity to attack, because Tony Top is going to lose Mega right now.
Good call. And Rosethorn being spotted out on that ward, it's more time for Tony, where he's actually done a decent job of navigating this matchup. This is a very, very difficult matchup for the Gnar. Tony not falling behind yet. A really good sign. As meanwhile, you can see Ryoma. It's level 5 Rise, corrupting potions ticking. It's a nice Q from Triple, but Rise really trying to use that early power to bully out the Ahri.
So I do want to talk a bit about Triple and how he also, as Violet, not as severe as Violet, but it took him a little bit of time to get over here to play. And he's played nothing but Ahri at this point. Oh, Breezy.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, no, that is so unfortunate. The flash away, the flash follow-up from Chime. He can get the kill, I think, but no, he doesn't. It was a canceled auto that now Prismal is the one turning this around with the low health bars on the side of Golden Guardians, getting a ton of damage with that 4th crit shot. But here's Rosethorn to attempt a dive. It's difficult to dive in Alistar. I don't know if you want to until those minions show up.
Honestly, I thought that if Violet committed the flash, they might have been able to take down Breezy earlier, but not the case. Instead, trade of summoners, and with that bot lane priority, CLG will move on to the Dragon, should be able to secure an early one for themselves.
Give bot lane priority. Unfortunately, the fact that Breezy didn't fall, as you talked about, meant that they can turn around, get the priority, get this Dragon first neutral of the game for CLG.
And now this does enable CLG to play hard for the Herald, which I think is really important to them, especially given the Aurelia top into Gnar. This is a matchup that when you take it, you're hoping, expecting to win. And yeah?
What are the odds we get another backdoor game like yesterday?
You're asking me this at the 6-minute mark?
I am asking you this at the 6-minute mark.
30%.
Oh, that's a lot higher than I expected. Okay, well, right, it might be a lot higher too than Chime, because Chime, he's gonna die easily. First blood, wait a minute, first blood picked up by Iconic. They got a turnaround. They've got damage onto Breezy, who doesn't have flash, but here's Prismal on the other side. They could get the crit shot. No, it wasn't the 4th crit. The flash comes in from Triple to secure the kill on Iconic. The Realm Warp out by Ryoma.
See if Prismal can maybe guess where Violet's gonna dash. Nope, not able to find it. Once again, Prismal able to get to the fight first. A little bit of an advantage bot for CLG early, given how they were able to play out this match and play out the picks, and that helped it make sure the play and the bot River went in CLG's favor.
This is what I was trying to set up before with Triple. He has played Ahri the most in this split. This guy has navigated in many, many ways since joining back up with CLG, and we're seeing his prowess with this champion.
And I love the early, just preemptive ult over the wall, making sure that Ahri was able to get there first, and Triple on low mana played this fight out really nicely, picked up 2 kills. And between Triple, Prismal being there first, that's the reason CLG was able to come out on top.
The only thing that surprised me was the fact Rosethorn got that first blood, but a Serrated Dirk was in the inventory of this Rek'Sai that allowed them to net that kill on Rosethorn. But still, it's a great play from CLG, getting 2 kills onto Ahri in a matchup that should be more difficult.
And for the Rek'Sai, Iconic, I know that 1 kill. I think that Iconic, not able to make a play with this Rise early. You're into Ahri. You can trade flashes pre-6 and really make it so that your mid lane can win heavily.
Yeah.
Now that hadn't happened, now that Ahri has 6, it's really tough for Iconic to set up and look mid. And you can see Ryoma now, as he gets closer and closer to the tank build, he also had to take a pit stop for the Mercury treads. He will have a little bit more trouble winning this 1v1.
So unfortunately, with how defensively Triple was playing during that attempted gank, it meant that there was no play for Iconic.
And now we're in a map state where this is exactly what CLG wants to do. We're 8 minutes into the game. Triple Dokla, they have push, and Rosethorn started up the Herald. We'll see if Golden Guardians can respond. Tony Top did just pop Mega. So CLG should wait this out. But I think because Breezy's here, they feel confident enough to go for it.
Yeah, look at where Chime is. He's way too far away. Smite is secured by Rosethorn, but they're being cautious with fighting this back. They're getting the damage, they're getting the flash out of Tony Top, and they're looking for Rek'Sai. She's back in the back line, but taken down by Dokla. True shot barrage. Not enough. Dokla's able to walk away with a bit of a crying emote.
This is a really awkward situation for Golden Guardians because, they had Mega on Tony. If they want to play for that objective, I know it's a 2v4, but you got to go when the Nar's Mega, because once that Nar hits Mini, that's when CLG is going to pull the trigger exactly like they did there and went out in the play.
And getting a Rift Herald, another neutral objective, early game. Unfortunately, I will say the one saving grace for Golden Guardians and unfortunate side for CLG is it is Dokla who picked up the eye.
What do you mean that's unfortunate? We're just going to go take top first, Matt Match.
Well, yeah, but I'm
it's
just
easy
saying
peasy.
it's nice to have that flexibility with Rosethorn getting it, as now Breezy gets punted back towards the team. This time, you're not going to live.
I got a little bit scared for the Violet there, just ever so slightly, but it was calculated from Chime. He's got the alley-oop right into Iconic. Breezy, Flash being down, going to be punished. Good play from Golden Guardians, bounce back.
Yeah, hey, bit more gold. Plus, it's on to Rek'Sai. Normally, you kind of look at junglers like, I don't want the kills to be on junglers. But with Rek'Sai versus Lee Sin, you're happy with that, especially because it is that lethality build out of Rek'Sai.
Yeah, so it's going to be likely the Prowler's Claw first from the Rek'Sai, which means that if you get the Prowler's Claw, you can kind of chain that into your Unburrow to guarantee the ultimate. Gives you another gap closer as Dokla. He's got to flash out preemptively because Rise is moving.
That's the Gnar ult that throws him into the wall for Ryoma to pick up a kill easily in top lane.
The power of the Rise, Ryoma, he drops the wave mid. Who cares? He changes the landscape of this matchup top. Tony Top, granted an assist. Dokla gonna have to burn TP to get back into the lane. Good stuff from Golden Guardians. They bounce back again, and now they even up the gold lead.
Hey, this is exactly what Golden Guardians need to have continue. Even if they have a great wombo combo composition that will work well in the late game fights, they want to also put themselves at an even playing field. And if Ryoma dies here, that's a big loss for the side of Golden Guardians.
Mercury Treads can't stop the CC chain there from CLG as Breezy. Love the Zenith Blade flash in. That's CLG punching back. A little bit of a back-and-forth game. We did say we expected some more action, given the picks, and like seeing the teams deliver, but with Ryoma going down, that should be the Dragon going over to CLG, so even with the trade of kills, even with Golden Guardians punching back a bit, it's still CLG getting the neutrals.
It's also so unfortunate for Ryoma. His flash was barely off of cooldown. It just came up during his death state now.
Unfortunate for Ryoma, or calculated by CLG.
Exactly. It's, I think, good calls on the side of CLG. They knew the timer was there. Probably pinged it before, saying, okay, we can punish it at this moment. We have a small window. Get the kill there. Get the Dragon for the team. Third neutral of the objective taken by the side of CLG, where now Dokla is forcing Tony Top off of these lanes.
It's nice for Tony. Rushing the boots, was able to escape that. So Dokla now has no ult. Tony has Mega.
Got Mega, but I don't think Dokla's as worried. Realm Warp doesn't have an easy in for Ryoma at the moment. Flash is down, though. He's got to be careful. That's the Gnar ult into the wall, and look who's nearby. It's Iconic, burrowing, looking for the kill. Got the Void Seeker and the kill with the Prowler's Claw.
That's it, right? The dash through the Unburrow. I know if you play Rek'Sai, it's a pretty common interaction, but we don't see a lot of Rek'Sai, so just going to make sure we highlight that one for viewers tuning in.
Yeah.
And now, easy kill going over to Tony. Toko set behind once again. Now let's see if CLG can rinse and repeat in the mid lane.
Nice flash. This time, Ryoma had that up.
No play available. Now, CLG, they're going to try and transition this into the bot side. Triple did burn that ultimate. He has one more charge.
Got the charm to land. Already pops the ult out of Chime. That's a critical cooldown burn for Golden Guardian.
Rosethorn's Q missed by pixels there. That might have been the Alistar going down. Instead, not the case. CLG can utilize that pressure to get 2 points on Prismal on the bot side. That's pretty nice. Whereas Dokla, you called it because Dokla died twice in the top side, Mad Magical. He was never able to set up that Rift Turtle play we expected to be set up for the Aurelia. So he just has to throw it mid and hope that they are able to get it to crash in the mid turret.
Ryom is doing his damnedest to deny that, getting a lot of damage on top of it. But it's still some plates, I believe, will be picked up by Dokla.
I mean, Shelly just went across the entire Summoner's Rift. I was hoping she'd get a crash off.
Yeah, you're hoping that. It got a little dicey there. I thought Ryoma might have been able to stop that charge, but thankfully for the side of Dokla, it went through, gets more gold, and now he comes to the lane with a Blade of the Ruined King.
As we approach the mid-game, plates are about to fall. I think the good thing for CLG, they took 2 dragons. Now, CLG, we tease them as being the split-pushing team. What that does mean is that they could trade dragons for side lane turrets. And CLG, when we look at their split pushers, it's going to be the Ahri and the Aurelia. The Aurelia has been set behind, but Triple is really far ahead. So I think we're going to have to keep our eyes out again for Triple and Rosethorn. CLG is going to play at the tempo of their mid-jungle duo. And right now we can see them trying to get some work done, but I think they're paying a lot more respect to Golden Guardians than some of the strength that Iconic has on this Rex side currently.
I think you have to, especially with Dokla kind of being a bit behind. Even if it's up in if you're up in CS in this top lane, as Aurelia and Gnar, you would expect to have at least a couple more kills against the Gnar, not necessarily being down 1-2 against it.
And now, if you are CLG, I know we teased it in draft, but it's really about avoiding the bouncy house that Golden Guardians can put together as,
this is what I was talking about.
Dead.
There you go.
My.
Oh, but the Realm Warp to punish.
There's 2.
Dokla, can you get out of this alive?
No,
Rune Prison knock up from Iconic. The Wombo that you talked about before in lane phase comes to fruition for Golden Guardians.
So at least Golden Guardians are able to answer back, but that's 2 members sent top just to trade out a kill. Meanwhile, CLG, Rosethorn helped triple shove in mid. This should be the turret take. We look at bot. Prismal just took that down on his own. So still the pressure, the winning lanes from CLG, despite all the good work the Golden Guardians has done to make sure that Tony does okay in this matchup, it's still CLG, the lead they had elsewhere, bleeding into other parts of the map and them winning out overall.
And the startup on Rift Herald for CLG, the fact they have those lane prios, they're sending Breezy into this top lane. If they can wait for Dokla to get back up, they could easily turn for it after they clear some of the jungle.
Iconic, like, barely got in that Realm Warp, man. Rek'Sai, that was like the super tunnel. You know, that's the old school farm alarm we got for with the Rise when you hop in that Realm Warp, right?
Yeah. It's honestly one of those plays where you look at it, but there's not much more to say about it, right? It was what you had talked about before between Rise and Rek'Sai. You land this Rune Prison, follow-up knock-up, easy peasy.
Now, on the back half of that play, we are 25 seconds away from this Ocean Dragon. I did tease the CLG. They could drop these for side lane turrets, but they just knocked down the outer mid, the outer bot, and CLG are really powerful at the moment. 2.5k gold lead. Ahri feels really good at this point of the game. Triple's level 11. I think they're looking to attack.
They're setting up a Death Brush, but Time knows better. He's not falling for this, but maybe Ryoma will. Getting a bit of damage, dodging away from the charm. 4 members apiece. No, 5 members apiece for both teams. It's the Ram special.
I think this favors Golden Guardians. I know they're down in gold, but...
Ooh, Violet, the flash in from Chime to try to defend his ADC. But he got Violet pretty low, and where it had favored Golden Guardians before, that's kind of out the window.
Now, Prismal did burn both sums. Violet getting low, that does help, but CLG, they just have to be careful, because Golden Guardians... Gnar's about to go Mega. They have an Alistar. They have a Rek'Sai. That's a bouncy house. Merc Treads do not help you with knockups. You are going to have a tough time dealing with all the CC. And CLG do have some mobile members, but Prismal's now down Flash, Gale Force heal. I think that's the target the Golden Guardians are looking for if they want to take this fight.
Pulling out the Dragon as best as possible. Violet healed up a bit. True Shot Barrage doesn't connect onto anybody. with the damage already onto the dragon. You saw time, the blast going in. He's found Prismal without any summoner spells, and they got him rocked into the wall, and they got the kill
Holy
easily.
Chime.
They're looking for Rosethorn as well on top of it all for a double kill out of Tony Top with a turnaround onto the rest of members of CLG. Realm Warp Party Train, 4 members on top of Dokla. Low health bars, Violet's taken out, but they got a kill onto Dokla. Yes, finally they do, and they can take down Triple. Even with the flash over the wall, it's not enough to escape the shutdown for Ryoma.
And this is CLG not respecting the win cons of their team comp, and Golden Guardians punishing so hard off the back of Chime. The angle that he was able to find. Prismal, he burned both sums to ensure that he got the chunk on Violet. They were burned because Chime landed the combo earlier. And then Chime later on this Alistar is the one that finds the flank, finds the angle to knock Prismal into his team. This is such good play from Chime. He's been so good this split on support. And his Alistar, a pick that he's been known for, we haven't seen a ton. Good to see it come out in a good game here. He's making the most of it.
I love the target selection. The immediate fight that he had to find Prismal. He saw the other members and he's like, no, I need Prismal. He's got no sums and everything from there, which is clinical.
I mean, I appreciate Chime, you know, self-fulfilling the prophecy I'm winding up, right? But also, I'm talking about sums being down on the marksman because that, I mean, these guys are some of the top teams they have in Academy. I'd expect for them to attack that area. It is an easy spot for these comps to get on when you have a Jhin that is somewhat, you know, you are Chime on Alistar and Golden Guardians. I mean, the team fight they have, I'm really surprised that CLG gave them that opportunity. They could have sacked the Dragons. They could have tried to play through the sides. Could have tried to keep on trying to find these skirmishes. I know that chunking out Violet looked juicy, but that's exactly the scenario that Golden Guardians want. Now CLG, I know it's still a 500 gold lead, but it feels like they're playing from behind.
Exactly, because of what we had set up before. This is a team from Golden Guardians that as long as they're even going into the mid to late game, they have the Wombo combo. They have all this ability to constantly have a bouncy castle on top of CLG, while CLG don't have that option. They are far more committed towards the 1-3-1 and can't set up any of these fights.
And one of the things we did see CLG do really well yesterday was when they got behind, they started to have triple tail Dokla in the side lanes. I want to see if they set that up again because I think that is a way you can find skirmishes where you are very powerful as CLG and can try and throw a wrench to the game plan for Golden Guardians because at this point, Golden Guardians are cruising. They're Ezreal scaling. Ryze can steady out whatever side lane that he is in, especially if he's into the Ahri. And now Golden Guardians, they know they're strong. They want more fights. Iconic, not able to connect the Q onto Lee Sin there. But you can see Golden Guardians just reclaiming that real estate. They're getting out further onto the map. They're pushing CLG back now, something they were not doing before that last Dragon fight went in Golden Guardians' favor.
Not nearly as defensive as before. It is a lot better for Golden Guardians. They have set up. They've got a Ryze who's 3-1 for Ryoma. Iconic's got himself 4 kills too with a Prowler's Claw and Serrated Dirk in his inventory. On the other side, still got these critical members lacking a bit. Only the Blade of the Ruin King, which is considered a big power spike for Dokla. But look at what Tony Top has to answer it. He's got enough armor to kind of deny Dokla from taking him down too easily.
And for CLG, I think that we can see just an attempt there. Triple was being hovered by Dokla, so we could see the 2 solo laners pushing up. But Golden Guardians, if they watched CLG's series yesterday, I think they would know to be aware of that if CLG gets behind in the composition like this. Keep in mind, it was yesterday something like the Fiora TF, the combo that CLG played in Game 1 where Triple was hovering Dokla so many times and was able to turn around fights for them and turn that game back in favor of CLG. One of the more fun games we've had at Academy. First game against FlyQuest yesterday for CLG. If you want to see how to play 1-3-1s and come back, that's a good VOD to check out. As CLG, 200% of this one. We are $120 away from this 4th Dragon of the game as the mid-outer falls, and we'll have to see if CLG can find a better setup, find a skirmish. They really need that if they want a chance at this Dragon.
I think let's go back to the drawing board of the 3-wave setup. The priority in these lanes that force the hand of Golden Guardians. Do you want to deny a soul point potential for CLG, or do you want to lose your turrets, lose your entire base along the way?
I think this is some of the issues that are running into as well with how Ryoma's just ahead of the power curve because Ryze can clear these waves so quickly. Really tough to attack in the side lanes, especially with going tank, having the Realm Warp, even having the Merc Treads. So that does take away one of the angles for CLG. And we can't see CLG. They haven't been able to match push in both of these lanes. They do have some nice ward control over this bot side jungle. We'll see if they can hold on to it, as now Golden Guardians, they're starting the fight in.
I know. Looking at Iconic, how he's setting himself up, Edge of Night, to deny initial engage from the side of CLG, especially out of Breezy, making his life that much more difficult when looking for a play around this next dragon.
Yeah, I actually think it's a really smart buy from Iconic. Now, he will have to dodge out on quite a few abilities to maintain this, but if he does have it going into a fight, it does mean a charm doesn't, completely wreck his day, which is important for the Rek'Sai.
Exactly, and you can see at the moment with the dragon having spawned, Golden Guardians are the ones on the play. They already have control of the bottom half of the map. CLG is trying to get the top side.
This is what I was kind of teasing before the third dragon with CLG, right? They could drop this and trade elsewhere. And we do see them give up control to make sure that Dokla is able to get that top outer turret for himself. So CLG take a little bit of gold in their pockets, whereas Golden Guardians will even up the dragon count and take on their second ocean.
Second ocean, tied up one apiece. Baron is up as well, but no team has that setup at the moment, I think, for that. Even though Golden Guardians do have really good wombo combo fight, that's a risky play to set up at this moment. They need to make sure they're getting themselves into that spot where they don't have to worry about Dokla in the side lanes setting up to take the base.
Yeah, and you can see the CS between Dokla and Tony Top. That was a somewhat close lane, but because of that dragon trade and because of how CLG has been moving Dokla around the map the last couple minutes, you can see he's actually gotten pretty far ahead now. Tony Top, that Randuin's Omen, will make life a little bit harder for Dokla in this side lane. Gives him that slow active, which is actually really nice against the Aurelia to try and escape. As we saw Dokla earlier on trying to overextend, with that ultimate, with that stun combo to get on top of the Gnar. This does help Tony Top escape that, but it still was a side lane. We're going to see Dokla. He's winning again, right? He has shove. That's very important.
Oh, the trigger pull there from Iconic with the knock coming in from Giant. The bouncy castle. Rosethorn suffered. He found out what happens when you get thrown inside the pit. The flashes away from CLG. They got crazy, but not enough damage to actually pick him off at the moment. It's going to be the curtain call open. Getting a lot of damage on the Violet. No, it's going to be tanked up by Tony Top. They look for a re-engage, but they got to be careful. They got the shutdown they needed to. They've got resets now. Dokla could go back into the fight with the flashes away coming in from Ioma, but they got a lot more damage on a Chime. Chime's low. Double kill comes in from Triple. Triple might look for his own. Triple with the kill and the charm onto Ioma. He's got it. Looking for Violet as well, the last surviving member, but he's not afraid. He flashed in for his own kill. Dokla here to chase him down and make sure they secure themselves an ace.
And this fight from CLG, this was so good. Rosethorn, yes, he goes down first, but the way that they retreated into the choke, bought time around Prismal's ultimate, that curtain call opened the curtains up again for CLG to re-engage, and they pull it off.
It's also, they fought in a very tight corridor, which Aurelia loves with her ult.
Yeah, look at this. So once Triple, yes, he goes golden, but they both flash Tony's ult, and this is a good moment for CLG just fighting in this choke. Breezy's the one taking up the damage. They slow down Violet. They get a lot of chip damage down onto him. And Triple, that ultimate to get over the wall and get this reset, they get another kill, and Triple just goes crazy in this fight, man. Magical. His Ahri is so good, man. I know that it's high priority, and I know I was a little bit critical for picking it into the Rise, but we're seeing why, because the raw skill that Triple has on this champion, it is why CLG is so confident blinding it, giving it to him every game, because he can make plays. Made a huge one right there.
Massive for CLG. Back in the game and back with the lead against Golden Guardians. That does not mean that they're out of the woods just yet. Both teams have got good setup. We can see what Golden Guardians do around more open areas, such as around Dragon and Baron pits. But there was CLG's home, inside these tight corridors, to set up the resets, to set up a Vanguard's edge, charms, etc., etc.
And you can see Golden Guardians now, kind of recognizing that upfront damage, upfront power from CLG, specifically Violet. We've seen Ezreal go for a lot of different mythics lately. Always room for a Liandry's if you want more poke. Looks like, I'm going to guess, it's going to be the Crown of the Shattered Queen, as Breezy going to have to respect the Hex Flash from Chime. Good find there. Breezy shouldn't be going for that ward when his team isn't behind him. Get a free flash. But also Ezreal, I think that this game, going for that Shattered Queen, it's just kind of recognizing, like, hey, I can get blown up by Ahri. And if that happens, that's really bad. So I think that Golden Guardians it's going to be about playing these fights a little bit slower. All it took was one small mistake, one overextension from Tony Top and Golden Guardians for them to get punished by CLG.
It's about playing that defensive League of Legends style. While you have power in your team fights, you need to make sure you're not just throwing yourselves at the bodies of CLG. Get them baited into you, then set up afterwards.
And you can see one of the nice parts about Rek'Sai as well with these dragon setups, just spotting the champions, enabling Tony to poke around with that Rang, stack up his Mega a little bit. We are 40 seconds away from this Ocean Dragon, and CLG doesn't have the option to trade this one for turrets. They've already taken all the outers. Oh, we can see Golden Guardians actually getting pretty creative here, as they are two-manning the Baron right now. CLG did not spot the Realm Warp. They do not know.
But it's Violet who's the focus. He's the one taking the damage. Body blocked by Iconic. Final crit shot, not gonna land. They've got enough damage on a Violet and Iconic, but they themselves can now turn and see if they can set up vision around this pit.
And they pulled CLG into the Baron side. I think that CLG intelligently, they should throw a trinket on Baron just to make sure that it can't be done. Yep, there it is, control ward from Rosethorn. But now they just shift their power immediately back to the Dragon. Don't waste any time over there. You know that you got the chip on the Marksman. He can't TP back. Take advantage of that. Go get this neutral. Really good play from CLG.
And with the fact they saw Ryoma top lane, clearing out that minion wave, it's even easier for them. No worries, no problems for CLG. They are now at Ocean Soul Point.
And as we take a look at the inventories, we have some recalls coming in. Frozen Heart completed for Ryoma. I do want to say I thought Violet would be going for the Crown of the Shattered Queen. It's actually going to be the Henri, so a little bit more poke and ship damage coming out against high health targets. Not bad there for the Ezreal, as I did say. A couple different mythic options. Can always go for Prowlers too.
The only problem I have with it is how squishy he's going to be.
It's going to be tough, but, I mean, Violet, you are Ezreal. You have Cleanse, you have Flash, you have Arcane Shift, so just going to be relying on his hands to make sure that a Charm, none of that poke damage connects.
At least you hope so. With CLG, they have good diving potential into this backline. Aurelia, Lee Sin, Leona, Triple on Ahri, all these champions could find you in the backline, split off from the rest of the team, and kill you so quickly.
Now, to talk about items on Golden Guardian's side, also on CLG's side, I think it's important Prismal has that LDR and Rapid Fire Cannon. Once he gets Infinity Edge, Jhin gets back to the point where Jin's pretty strong and is actually doing some pretty decent damage in these fights, which props to Prismal. He's been farming up well and pumping that out really nicely with the poke. So we'll see if CLG can play these controlled fights around the Jhin. And I think my eye is on the side of Golden Guardians now as we shift into the later parts of the game. I think it really goes on to Chime. Chime's been fantastic on this Alistar.
Yes.
Finding engages, burning flashes. I think that Chime has to be the one that next time he burns a flash, like the one that Breezy has down, the one fight Golden Guardians won was from a hero play from Chime. And I think he's going to have to be the one that steps up big again, especially as we see CLG start to poke around this Baron.
Trying to bait in Golden Guardians since they are the ones with the opportune time. But they're not falling for it. They commit the take on that turret bot lane for Tony Top.
Yeah, this is actually a really nice play from Golden Guardians, and CLG, I mean, their health bars got brought down pretty good by that Baron. Golden Guardians just check it out, say, you know what, that's fine. You can have that. We're going to take this bot turret. And now Tony, he's building up that Mega Gnar again. Once he gets Mega back up, Golden Guardians could start to look for a play around this.
That's why CLG, I don't think, even want to venture that far out anymore. They know the power of a Gnar. But Tony Top also realizing that. Say, hey, you know what? I got to save this Mega Gnar for the next time we look for a play around Baron. We have 2 and 38 minutes until the next dragon spawns, the potential soul for CLG. So don't play too risky and try to see if you can force a fight beforehand.
And this is one of the, I would say, like, shortcomings of CLG's comp is that, yeah, they have a ton of skirmishing power, a lot of range, but they don't do Baron quickly with this Ahri Jhin. It really is not an option for CLG unless Doke was there. And if Doke was there, then Golden Guardians are probably going to sniff out that, you know, Baron is being taken. So I think that Baron stars for CLG are kind of off the table. Just all going to be about this Ocean Soul. And to be fair, we are 2 minutes away, so we are getting to that time where Ocean's going to be back out in the map. And Golden Guardians, they can't make another mistake around this one. I know that they have a stronger team fight, but going against an Ocean Soul is going to make it even harder for them to take this game their way and make sure that they obtain first places. Keep in mind, this game is for first.
It is. This is where all the marbles have been put in for both teams to grab on to a solo first position. Realm Warp comes in from the side of Golden Gardens, but already the retreat for CLG. Lots of damage on a Breezy. Finally will be able to burst him down, or do they? They can't pick it up. Big Dokes on the Violet. This is what I talked about, the flank onto the squishy Ezreal. They can focus back for a double kill off Iconic with Dokla going back in. A knockup comes in from Time, but it's still Dokla alive with the help of Gore Drinker. This is a huge fight out of CLG. Triple kill for Dokla. Do they give him the quadra kill as they go over the wall? They don't even bother. They just get the clean ace.
And CLG, man, Golden Guardians, I thought they had an okay find. They thought that they had someone split, but Dokla, guess what? He's not in a side lane. He's here for the fight. CLG, they wipe it 5-0, and they're looking to make sure that they take this game in their favor. Who cares about Ocean? Who cares about Baron? They want the base.
But let's look at this replay, because I thought Breezy was going to die for sure.
So Breezy, I mean, even if he doesn't go down, you're still blowing all your cooldowns on a Leona.
Yeah.
And the way that CLG were able to bounce back from this walk around, and just the guts, the calculation of Dokla to know I am level 17, I have a Gore Drinker, I can not only go in at the first part, but also here, proc that, get all the health back. That is massive for the side of CLG. They wiped the fight, and now they're just going to wipe the game.
Yeah, they, when we get out of this replay, are pushing down mid. They've taken the inhibitor. They've got Nexus Turrets. Keep in mind, Violet is just spawning now when both Nexus Turrets fall. CLG, the Kings of Academy, regain first place.
And I know for CLG, you know, starting the split 14-4, it was so exciting for us because this was a team, they didn't even make Proving Grounds in the summer of last year. They had a total rehaul, not only their LCS team, but also their Academy squad as well. Them coming out of the gates hot was awesome. Now, second round robin, we've seen some teams improve. We haven't seen CLG really keep up with some of that, but man, these... I would say this week, this Super Week, we've seen CLG return to their identity. We've seen Rosethorn make plays early. We've seen Triple and Dokla continue to be studs in the sides. And now CLG, with that 2-0, it feels like all the second round robin woes, all the criticisms that you could point towards them, those go out the window. They've reclaimed first place, and they beat the first place team in order to do so 2-0.
That's the most impressive part to me, is the fact that it is the ultimate battle for first place. One team will keep the title, the other team would fall to second, and CLG take them down 2-0. Not even at a tie 1-1 series.
I mean, props to CLG. I know that speaking with Rosethorn, he said, you know what, the last couple weeks, they haven't been as fun. Like, we aren't winning as many games, but that's got to feel great for CLG. I know that they have another series they'll have to make sure they solidify their spot in first tomorrow, going up against the EG. And for CLG, I mean, you got to have so much confidence now riding into Proving Grounds. You just took down the top team that we have in Academy. You have reclaimed that spot for your own. And hey, you know what? Maybe dropping some games earlier in the regular season, maybe it's okay. I mean, it matters prepping for Proving Grounds. Right. We are going towards what it really is the equivalent of Academy playoffs. So I think that CLG, if they've learned some things from there, if they've gotten stronger, could benefit them in the long haul. Want to see if that's the case.
Also might help them avoid the second seed curse for Proving Grounds and give that over to Golden Gardens. We're going to toss it to a break for now. Our beautiful host of Mazel will be back with more awesome Academy action. Make sure you stay tuned.